Britain is being squeezed, not in some dramatic film scene, not with one giant event that makes everyone suddenly panic, not with one headline that changes everything overnight. I mean squeezed in the way that really matters. Pressure overseas, pressure closer to home, pressure on energy, pressure on infrastructure, pressure on the military, pressure on the systems normal people rely on every single day. And while most people have been watching Iran, something else has been happening much closer to us. The UK has just revealed that it tracked Russian submarines for more than a month near critical undersea infrastructure, while Russia has also been linked to sanctioned tankers moving through the channel under naval escort, all at the same time as global energy nerves remain tied to the Strait of Hormuz. Welcome back to Charlie Survival. If you're new here, subscribe and leave me a comment below. Do you think Britain is more exposed than most people realise? Because in this video I want to show you why I think the UK is being squeezed from multiple directions at once. First, what the government has just revealed about Russian submarines operating around critical undersea infrastructure near Britain. Second, why the Strait of Hormuz still matters to your fuel bill, your food bill, and the wider UK economy. And third, why this is not really a story about panic at all. It's a story about how modern Britain depends on systems that look solid right up until they are put under real pressure. Because earlier this year, the British government says it tracked a Russian Akula-class attack submarine and two specialist deep-sea submarines linked to GUGI, Russia's Deep-Sea Research Directorate. The operation lasted more than a month. British aircraft flew more than 450 hours. Around 500 British personnel were involved. And according to the Defence Secretary, these were exactly the kinds of Russian assets associated with surveying undersea infrastructure in peacetime and potentially sabotaging it in conflict. That matters because this was not framed as some random naval sighting. It was framed as a warning. The government's message was basically this: Britain saw what Russia was doing, Britain tracked it, and Britain wants Moscow to know that any attempt to interfere with undersea cables or pipeline would carry serious consequences. In the official speech, John Healey explicitly linked the operation to our cables and pipelines and said the UK has exposed a covert Russia mission rather than allowing it to stay hidden. Now, this is where a lot of people switch off because undersea cables sound technical and distant, but it is not distant at all. It is everyday life hidden under the water. The government says half the gas that heats UK homes depend on undersea infrastructure, along with 99% of international telecoms and data traffic. Parliament's National Security Committee has also said the UK relies almost entirely on subsea telecom cables for its connection to the outside world. So when people hear cables, they should not think abstract military jargon. They should think the internet, payments, messages, business systems, cloud services, and the digital plumbing that modern life quietly runs on. That is what modern pressure looks like, and if you want a practical place to start with gear and essentials, have a look at my Charlie Survival Amazon kit list. It is there as a useful resource for the basics, not fancy gear, not overkill, just practical items for a real household. And if you want a free next step, my blackout checklist is linked in the pinned comment. And for those who want the full UK-specific step-by-step version, the UK Crisis Readiness System is there as well. The feedback has been really positive and it is genuinely helping people. I've also reduced it to half price over the Easter holidays. And that is what makes this story so interesting to me, not because it sounds dramatic, because it sounds practical. This is not really a submarine story. It is a system story. It is a story about the weak points of a country that depends on invisible networks. And if you want to understand modern risk properly, that is where you have to look, not just at the obvious things people are shouting about on the television, but at the hidden things a country quietly needs in order to function. Now, let me be careful here because I do not want to drift into fantasy. This does not mean that if one cable is cut, the whole country instantly goes dark and everybody's Wi-Fi vanishes in 10 seconds. The UK's Parliament's own report on subsea cables says the system does have resilience. It says traffic can sometimes be rerouted and that routine cable breaks are usually manageable. But it also warns that a severe coordinated disruption could still lead to payment failures, communication problems, supply chain disruption, and wider cascading effects across the economy. That is the key point, not instant collapse, but real disruption. That could mean patchier services, slower or failing digital systems, pressure on payments, pressure on logistics, pressure on businesses, pressure on ordinary households. And that is before we even talk about energy, because while all of this has been unfolding much closer to home, the UK has been worrying about the Strait of Hormuz. Barclays said today that delays in restoring normal supply flows through Hormuz could push oil prices higher, with disruptions still amounting to around 13 to 14 million barrels per day. Reuters also reported continued worries about global energy shipments despite the ceasefire headlines. That matters because Britain does not need to be in the Gulf to feel the consequences of a squeezed energy market. We feel it through fuel, we feel it through transport, we feel it through food prices, we feel it through the wider cost of moving things around a country that already depends heavily on imports, haulage and fragile margins. So one story is north of us, one story in the Channel, one story is out in Hormuz, and Britain is still trying to sit in the middle of all of these. That is why I think people need to stop thinking in terms of one giant crisis moment. Most real strain does not arrive as one cinematic event, it arrives as friction. Higher fuel cost, more nervous supply chains, shipping delays, insurance complications, pressure on military assets, infrastructure vulnerabilities, the slow feeling that systems are becoming less smooth, less certain, and less forgiving than they were before. Because the big question is always this: what do you actually do with information like this? You do not convince yourself you need a bunker, and you do not pretend that because Britain has handled hardship before, it automatically means no preparation is needed now. You use the information to reduce dependency. That is the real move. If fuel gets tight, do you always run the car on nearly empty? If payment systems wobble, do you have a bit of cash put aside? If the internet goes patchy, do you have key phone numbers and addresses written down somewhere physical? If deliveries slow down, do you have enough food, water, batteries, torches and power to stay calm for a bit? That is not paranoia, that is adulthood. That is normal grounded preparedness. And in my view, that is what Britain needs more of. Not louder opinions, not constant doom, not keyboard warriors fighting about nonsense online, just more normal households being a little less dependent on everything working perfectly all the time. Because that is a lesson in all of this. The country does not need to collapse for normal life to get harder. The systems do not need to fail completely for people to feel pressure. The cables do not need to be cut. The strait does not need to be shut forever. The military does not need to be overwhelmed. You can still feel a squeeze long before any of those things reach their absolute limit. And that to me is the mistake most people make. They wait for the obvious pain before they act. But by then, the prices are already up, the queues are already longer, the delays are already here, and the calm decisions are much harder to make. That is why I think this Russian story is so important. It tells you something about the kind of world we are in. A world where undersea cables and pipelines are not obscure technical details, but strategic pressure points. And a world where Britain, as an island nation tied into global trades, energy and communications, can feel pressure from faraway events, as well as nearby military probing. So no, I don't think the sky is falling, but I do think this means something serious. It means Britain is more exposed than most people realise. I think it means resilience matters more than rhetoric. And I think it means quiet, practical preparedness is worth far more than dramatic pre-decisions. Because when pressure builds, the people who cope best are not the loudest. They are the people who quietly got their house in order before the crowd caught up. So let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think Britain is weaker and squeezed from more directions than people realise? Hit like, hype and subscribe if you want more calm, practical, grounded UK preparedness like this. Starts with the free blackout checklist in the pinned comment. That is the easiest next step. If you want to be fully prepared, the UK Crisis Readiness System is there for people who want a full UK specific readiness plan rather than random bits of advice. It is half price for Easter at the moment and there are 36 amazing active members inside already, and the feedback has been incredible. And if you want a practical gear starting point, the Charlie Survival Amazon kit list is in the description. Next, I recommend watching this video on screen about the 10 items to get before May 1st. Grab a cuppa and a custard cream, stay prepared, not scared. Click it and I'll see you over there.